If there's one thing that we World of Warcraft player have all in common, it's starting all over again and creating new alts. You're not alone, man. I mean, every WoW player knows this feeling, right? You're on your main, you're doing all your grinding, all your stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, there you go. You have created an alt. And before you know it, you're standing again in Northshire Abbey and you're just doing what you have been doing for the past 20 years, just for repeating and feeling it once again. So today I want to talk about this weird phenomenon of why we actually keep creating alts all over again. Why we're drawn back to the simple and slow start. It's funny because it's also kind of fascinating because it says a lot about how we play games and also about how we maybe even live in life. So let's be honest, leveling in WoW just feels good. I don't know any other game where leveling feels so good, right? When you complete a quest chain, when you hit next level, I don't know, this is just something that is rewarding for me, and it's a loop that our brains love. Every quest is short in the beginning, right? And the reward is kind of immediate also. I mean, you do like 5 levels an hour? And that game in the moment, in the beginning, keeps patting you on the back, and man, sometimes I need those pattings on my back. So everything in the beginning feels like an early achievement, like this early sense of process. It's addictive. It's quick, rewarding, but also never stressful, you know? You don't worry about any schedules, about any grind at all. You're just in the moment. You just play, you explore, and you see your level going up and feel that dopamine hit. It's like the best comfort food in terms of WoW, you know? And Blizzard knew exactly what they were doing, right? In the early levels, they're smooth, fast, and full of all those little dopamine hits. Gear upgrades every few minutes, and sometimes you get even epics or upgrades, new abilities, easy wins, you know? But let's not forget about nostalgia. You know me. If I speak about WoW, I speak about nostalgia. And for many of us, those starting zones are World of Warcraft. I speak about Elven Forest, Teldrassil, Durotar, Mulgore, you name those. Those are all the places where I especially fell in love with the game in the beginning. Because they remind us of being younger, of simpler days when everything in Azeroth felt new and full of possibilities. And even though we have seen them 100 times, starting again somehow feels fresh. That's like one of the reasons why people love the classic fresh service. It's maybe because this time we notice different details. You know what I mean? So if you go back, you're all alone at that point and you're stripped of everything that you have. So you are kind of forced to be in that moment and to notice your surroundings more than later. There's something oddly comforting about it. You know exactly where everything is, right? Every vendor, every NPC, every quest chain, but you still enjoy it. It's like rewatching your favorite movie or visiting like your childhood home or something like that. The world hasn't changed, like before Kata at least, but you have. Another reason we keep making alts is freedom, my guys. When you play your main, there is pressure. There are commitments, grinds, and to-dos, not just for other people like your guild or group, but also to yourself. So at the end of the day, you're like part of a machine and don't want to be like negative about all the endgame stuff and all of that, because playing with a purpose is good, right? You're giving yourself a purpose and we need that as well. But when you roll a new character, all of that disappears and you're free again. You can try everything new without having anybody noticing at your time. There's no one waiting for you, no one relying on you, not even yourself with your to-dos. It's just you and your new character in the world again. And that's a pretty liberating feeling, especially for people who've been playing this game for many, many years. When you think about it, an alt is basically a no-pressure vacation from your main. You can literally play without consequences, without anybody seeing, without responsibilities, without any expectation. It's your personal little escape inside a game that can sometimes feel like a job. I've been talking a lot about gaming burnout, but when most of us start new characters, it's because we are burning out. Endgame can be exhausting, right? You have to grind, you have to follow everything, and it takes so long. You have to sometimes spam raids, dungeons for specific gear. You know what I'm talking about. At some point, you realize you're not really having fun sometimes. You're just logging in because you have to, at least for a certain amount of time until we get new content, right? But starting fresh is the opposite of that. It's like hitting a mental reset button that you've built yourself. Suddenly all the world feels alive again. You care about everything that you're doing, like about money, about gold, because you have so little of that. About every piece of gear that you're finding when killing mobs. You find joy in the small things, the things that you ignored when you were focused on everything else that you've set yourself to reach. Leveling in alt reminds you that WoW was never supposed to be a checklist in the beginning. It was supposed to be an adventure, and if you know my channel, I speak a lot about the world building and the adventure. And when you start at level 1 again, you actually feel that adventure because there's no pressure, no competition, unless you're starting it for a challenge. There's a simple psychological reason we love the early levels. Progress feels faster. At the start, with every quest, every mob kill, every level, gives you a sense of growth. It's an instant feedback. Your brain loves that. As humans, we got motivated by small and frequent wins. That's why mobile games use achievements and short missions. That's why fitness apps give you badges. And it's the same reason why that leveling up sound actually gets never old. It's satisfying every time you hear it. You can't lie. And it's a constant reinforcement that you are improving, even if it's just by 5%. Now, contrast that with the endgame grind, where improvement can take weeks, sometimes months, man. If you're farming a specific mount, you know what I'm talking about. So when you're starting out, progress still feels exciting. But when you're in the endgame, it feels like work because it takes so much more effort and so much more time to complete. So instead of grinding for actually tiny stuff, maybe a mount that will disappear in your inventory that you're never seeing anyways, or just to have a few numbers being a little bit higher than before, we rather start new characters where every single step actually mattered. So you're having more things to do where you feel, that's my purpose. That's what I have done today. I leveled from level 6 to 8 today. You know what I mean? Another big reason for alts is identity. Everyone has a main, right? But that main can feel limiting. Maybe you're always the healer, maybe you're always the tank. You know what I mean? So you're kind of locked to what you have chosen when you started your main. Alts let you be someone else, right? You can choose any class, any race. So it's literally in the name. They're alternate versions of yourself. And sometimes that's exactly what you need. It's funny how a different class or maybe a fraction can make the entire game feel new, especially in WoW. You know what I mean? Playing Alliance and Horde feels different. It's literally there. Those are two different stories with two different paths to choose until the end game. And that's one of WoW's quiet strengths. It's give you infinite perspectives within the same world. And maybe that's why people keep coming back. Because Azeroth feels alive and every new character gives you a new way to enjoy it. But you know what? Sometimes alts are social tools. Maybe your friends just started playing again on another server. Maybe you want to join them without leaving your main behind. So you roll something new and start from scratch. It's a way to reconnect actually. And I remember when my wife started playing WoW, or every time she starts WoW again, I join her, and you know what? I enjoy that time a lot. Or every time a friend starts new, I really enjoy joining them, starting just a random class where I just say, screw it, I'm just going to start whatever they are going to start, and just reliving it all over again. Man, that's a blessed feeling. You make an alt because you want to disappear for a bit. That's how I said it in the beginning. No guild chat, no expectations, etc. Just quiet time to play on your own terms. But in both cases, alts give you control over your pace, your company, and also your experience. It's a reminder that games don't always have to be competitive and you don't have to have expectations. Sometimes they're just video games, and sometimes they just can be for yourself. But you know what? This isn't just a WoW thing. You see the same pattern in other games too. I do play a lot of Diablo. And Diablo has seasons, so we reroll new characters every few months just to feel that progression again. And Path of Exile does the same. It's human nature to want to reset sometimes, you know? Starting fresh is like a clean slate to rediscover fun without all the baggages that comes with experience, right? It's not about abandoning progress, it's about chasing that early excitement we actually cannot recreate at the top. Like for real, if you're clearing a raid, do you feel the same satisfaction as when you cleared a smaller dungeon boss at low level? I don't know, man. But if you want to get technical, it all ties to how our brains handle novelty and reward. When something feels new, our brain releases dopamine. It's the same chemical that makes achievements feel good. So starting a new character floods us with novelty, right? New classes that we are trying out, maybe new zones that we are trying out. It tricks our brain into thinking we are exploring something again. And even if it's the same world, it feels different because it's in another context. So that novelty, it wears off eventually. So which is why we get bored at max level or endgame. Everything feels familiar and we're repeating everything over and over again for some statistics. Creating alts reset that loop immediately. We go back to the part of the game where we were constantly learning and discovering even if we are technically not doing so. It's basically a psychological trick to refresh our brains. And there is something strangely comforting about starting the zones themselves, right? They're small, they're safe, you know them, they feel like home. Oh, that Elven Forest soundtrack. Now, for real, every time you hear that Elven Forest soundtrack on a YouTube video or wherever, you just feel home, don't you? Leave a comment because I really know that you do. And when life feels chaotic or stressful, logging into a brand new character, hearing that music, right? It's not just nostalgia, it's also just peace. So why do we keep creating alls? Because it's fun. Because it's human. Because starting something fresh feels better than finishing something old. It is how it is. And because no matter how many times we do it, those early zones still remind us of what made us actually fell in love with this game in the first place. So creating alts is our way of keeping World of Warcraft fresh until we get new content. It's a cycle, you know? We play, we burn out, we reset, we rediscover. And maybe that's not a bad thing at all. Maybe it's just part of what makes WoW so timeless. So the next time you feel the itch to roll another one, don't fight it, man. Just go for it, even if you know that you're not going past level 20. Just enjoy those moments, just enjoy the time, and just remember that the magic of WoW actually never is about to end. And it's always about new beginnings. Thank you so much for joining today's session. I'm trying to keep the uploads a little bit more frequent. So if you enjoyed this, leave a like, leave a subscribe, and see you in another video. Thanks a lot. Bye.